Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited that you're here as always. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing and all of that fun stuff. I usually talk about pretty heavy racism stuff, but I wanted to kind of give like a life update and talk about how I out of nowhere just kind of blew up on TikTok, literally out of nowhere. So January 2nd, I had about 6,000 people following me. Okay, great. I just, kind of in my own little corner, helping people talk about their implicit biases and understanding racism. And, that racism doesn't just have to live under a white hood, but it's, in everyday life, even though if we don't see it, so that's what I was kind of doing, like I always do, I had a video just like blow up out of nowhere. It was crazy. And so now at the end of February, I have 121,000 people supporting me on TikTok, and it is literally insane. I can't even fathom it. And of course, you have hate comments and stuff, but I don't respond back with hate. That could be obviously my faith and just kind of how my character is. People hating me says more about them than it does about me, so I just don't respond that way. And what's the best thing about it is that people say that they can watch it with their kids, which is amazing, because that is like the ultimate. Like, I love that people feel like that they can watch my content, my YouTube videos, all of those things with their kids. Literally makes me want to cry sometimes, because I have kids of my own and I just know how important these conversations are, and I know how important, people out there want to raise up their children in the next generation to be discriminatory or hateful or not stereotyping people or, just things like that. So that's really crazy, and I literally can't believe that. Another thing is that I am running a marathon. I signed up for a marathon, December 4th. I am running a marathon. I literally cannot even begin to fathom that. I always told myself I would never run a marathon. I thought people that ran marathons were like crazy. Like, who runs 26 miles willingly? Like, it's just insane, right? But now I'm one of those people. So I'm so excited for that. I ran my half marathon in December and it went so well. And I was just like, wow. Like, when I was running, I was like, wow, I may be able to do 26 miles. I mean, I was hurting after it, but I was like, I may be able to do 26 miles. Like, that may be something I could do. And so I thought about that and I did it. So now I have no choice but to run it, because I already signed up for it. And if I wanted to back out of it, I can't now, which is fine, which is totally fine. It's scary, but it's totally okay. And then this week I had an interview with the LA Times. How did that happen? Like, the LA Times, y'all. Like, okay, so we talked about racism on The Bachelor, and I made a video week before last and we talked about it, but like, I was on the phone for 40 minutes with someone from the LA Times, and we just talked about my opinions on what was going on in the Bachelor world. I talked about that in my last video, but it's just like insane. Like, I never thought I would be here. As I saw this year and my content really start to take off, I told myself that if I was going to influence someone, anybody, it was going to be in the right way. I didn't just want to say the things I say, but I wanted to back it up, right? I wanted to not only talk the talk, but walk the walk. I wanted to be open about my own biases that I have. I feel like that it's hard to ask people to come and talk about their biases when we're not willing to talk about biases that we may have ourselves. I don't respond to hate with hate. And I know that there's going to be people that don't agree with me, and that's fine. And I understand that not everyone is my target audience, and that's okay. Like I say, and like I'll always say, the whole reason why I'm even doing this, I'm even addressing racism in my small little world, is for my kids and for my husband. We built our house in 2019, and I remember telling my husband that I didn't want him to go into our house by himself. I didn't want him to enter the house by himself because I didn't want people to think that he didn't belong there. He understood where I was coming from, and he doesn't really give me pushback really when I have feelings like that. He always respects those feelings that I have when it comes to things like that, which do happen quite a bit, unfortunately. But I asked him not to come to the house by himself, and that if we needed to go into the house, we would do it when I was there with him, so that it would seem less threatening, or I would just run in and check on what needed to be checked on. And we closed on our house December of 2019. So we were in our house and everything. And just this past week, it was a year ago that Ahmaud Arbery was shot and killed because people thought he was in a home that was being built, and people felt like he didn't belong where he was and he was out of place. And to even think that I had asked my husband to not go in the house almost a year before Ahmaud Arbery was murdered is just a sobering thought, because sometimes you tend to think like, is something wrong with me? Am I crazy? Am I just dreaming this up? Maybe it's nothing. No one's gonna think that. No one's gonna think that. And people tell me all the time, don't worry about that. That's not gonna happen to Shannon. Shannon's a nice guy. Shannon's, he's a pastor. Shannon's such a kind-hearted person, but unless you know Shannon, you don't know those things. A lot of people just look at my husband and they see big black man, And so I feel like, especially with our daughter and our son, but, even in this aspect with our son, how he is going to be perceived by society. Everyone in my husband's family, every male is, 6 foot and over, and so I want to do whatever I can to help the world identify their biases. So, one day someone doesn't call the cops on my son. That he can, if he decides to run marathons like mommy, then he can run peacefully and freely in our neighborhood and not have to worry about the police called on him because someone feels like he doesn't belong where he is. That's why I even started doing this, was because I figured if I could help people identify any biases that they have for my kids, then maybe that person that watches my YouTube videos would second guess calling the cops on a child that they see out, a young black kid, or maybe they'll second guess, judging them or thinking that they don't belong where they are. Or even I've talked about black women in childbirth. Maybe one of those kids or parents that watch my videos is gonna have a kid that's a doctor one day. And maybe they'll take my daughter's pain seriously if she ends up in their delivery room or in their care. Maybe she'll be taken seriously, and that person, they won't think like, oh, well, she's just complaining because, black people don't feel pain as much. But they'll understand like, okay, maybe this is serious and we need to look into it. So that's why I started even doing this, really for my family. My friend I was talking to last night, she said, when you leave this earth, what's one thing you want to be remembered by? And out of all the people that I know, out of all the people that I care about and all the people that I love y'all, trust me, I love every single one of y'all. But at the end of the day, if my family, the people that I live with, those 3 people, my husband, my daughter, and my son, if they feel loved and if they feel like I did my part in protecting them and loving them and being the best wife and mother I can be, I don't care what anyone else thinks. I don't care how anyone else feels about me, as long as I know that I've been the best wife and mother I could be. And on that note, I think that I'll end this video here. So thank you guys for riding with me. I appreciate you, and I have so many more stories to tell you, and I just appreciate you guys being on this journey with me. I love y'all. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.